the second week of the United Nations General Assembly. Honorable Minister, what brings you here at the Assembly?
Well, I'm particularly concerned about the youth people, the young people. We had an earlier engagement where the President would meet the leaders of the different youth segments within North America, those that are accredited to Uganda as part of his outreach program while in the USA. So at this point in time, we are looking at the Uganda North American Youth Development Association. And we are expecting the leaders to come up here and join him in an exclusive interaction to ensure that we bridge the gap between the people the youth in Uganda and the youth in the diaspora. There's a lot that they need to learn from one another in terms of creating more employment opportunities, inflow and outflow of information, then mentoring and changing the mindset. They are a world apart, and they need to come together and believe in one another. So we are beginning this one this year, and we know that it will roll out to the rest of the countries. So yeah, the reason that I'm here.
Honorable, also there is a big problem in Uganda concerning bureaucracy. How are you going to be able to deal with that? Because many youth cannot access funds because of the...
Certainly it is there, but then the mindset again comes on the center stage. You know, when these people say they need a girlfriend, they can walk all the way and cross the borders. But when you tell them to pick an identity card from the district, they simply cannot do it. They say the identity cards were put very far from us. So I think it's more to do with the mindset than really. I'm looking at the protocols, and these are everywhere. They are kind of everywhere. I've tried to research and tried to find out what exactly is going on, why the complaint. But to me, I don't think that there's that much bureaucracy, because we are not governing a home, we are governing a nation. And it's the only way we can ascertain whether someone is really deeply interested in the funds or not. What the youth have is a short attention span, that whatever that you're talking about should not last for more than a week. In case it does, then it's not a good idea in the first place. So we are trying to do the mindset and tell them that what ripens fast, decays fast. Yes. And we are looking at a process that is short enough to be transparent and efficient.
Are you hoping to meet other countries here at the United Nations to be able to assist youth in Uganda to receive funds also? Is there any partnership you're seeking while here? Any diplomatic ties you're hoping to be able to exploit?
Yeah, sure. Especially through the coming 2 days, there's a session for women and youth. So we are trying to interact with the rest of the stakeholders. Consensus building and networking is a lifetime experience. We have to keep on knocking at the doors of so many people, especially now that I have the biggest segment. 78% of the people in Uganda are under 30. So this is the segment that I'm responsible for. So until we pay attention to that, we have no choice.
Will you leave the position if you don't fulfill all these promises you're making?
I have not had a history of not fulfilling promises. I've stood the test of time. I've been a leader for as long as I can remember. So I know where I was, and I know where I'm going. So I only know the things that govern the youth and how to take them to another level. And that's basically 1, getting involved, 2, going to them, 3, listening to them, and 4, being like them. That's all I know. So already there are fundamental changes that are beginning to be realized. And I think if we reduplicate at that stage, we'll go very far. Now we are bringing on stage the cooperatives, the youth cooperatives. And we are saying that even the little that has gone into the fund, let us see what it has done. So if there's the people making soap, handcraft, etc., let us help them to market. Take it away from them and give them money. Otherwise, if they don't see anything, any other help, they'll abandon the practice. So that's why we have a lot of influx of people leaving the country. Why? Because you cannot be a tea girl here, but you cannot be a tea girl in Uganda. You can wash the toilets here, but you cannot do it in Uganda. Why? They are all jobs, but because there's no minimum wage back home. So some of these issues are within the association that we are establishing to make sure that people can advise us as we get into the middle income status, that you need to set a baseline to encourage the people to join, and for their own security, safety, and comfort. We need all these boundaries to ensure that people are protected, that even when you work, you are paid in the first place. But so many people work in Uganda, but they don't get the fruits of their labor. A cement of 50 kilograms bag, you carry it for 100 shillings, which cannot even cross the border. So there's so many issues to look into. It's not only laziness or bureaucracy, but it's also irregularities in the infrastructure that we put forward to them. A house girl and solo, and then the fridge is full of beer and all those things. The musician, a media person, the media people are lowly paid. Mention it. But that is the private sector. It's not even the public. So people look at the government as they're wholesome, everything, but that's not true. It only caters for 30%, and then the 70% is from the private sector. So until the private sector is fully aware of the repercussions of tormenting a population, that is when we'll get into the middle-income country.
Right now, the president is doing most of your work. He's distributing cash to the youth. Don't you think there is a lack of, maybe, if he doesn't approve, that you can be able to deliver?
No, certainly not. He has a presidential fund, and the reason why it is there is that he should give it out. So to me, that is just doing what he's supposed to do. Because if he wasn't allowed to do that, they would not have given him the money. And we are looking at Kampala as a fulcrum. We are looking at Kampala as a sprinkler of so many issues. There has to be a combined effort. So this is KCCA, and it is central government. There's central government, there's KCCA, and then there's the local government. So as a ministry, we have only 9 staff members transversing all over the country. So if we don't come out, people don't come out to help us, then it will be the stampede. And the fountain of honor must be seen at the far front. His name must capture the hearts of so many people. So that gesture to me was the nutcracker. So once he's away, then we trickle down. The moment he gets away, we trickle down. So his name is important to trickle into the people's ears. I love it. I like it so much.
Okay.